Hello, this is Mugetsu, and well, here I am for some more Radical Dreamers and another attempt at the good ending. Okay, we're gonna see how it works out. I'm gonna have to use a guide because trying it by myself didn't exactly work out, and I already played this twice. Yeah, sorry about that, but you know what? Just as I called it, the lights went out, but it was only like 40 minutes, and at this point, I didn't want to completely give up. So, yeah, I'm gonna be using a guide, so this should be faster. Let's try to get the good ending. And actually, I did some reading up on this game. After doing the game and finishing, I actually need to continue so that the game registers. You know, it's not like Trigger or Chrono Cross where the new game plus gets like registered. I have to manually save in order to unlock the rest of the ending. So let's try to get a good ending, and that's gonna be it. All right, I'm gonna start. Well, I mean, I know that this is a very old game, so it has technical limitations, obviously. But I can tell you that more modern visual novels can remember that you already cleared the game. I mean, they have like registers, files that mark that you already did the first playthrough. So it's not entirely, impossible for a VN to do this, but again, I know this is very old. Chrono Trigger did have the saving system. Chrono Cross also. But again, it's not like I have played that many visual novels. I have only played like the Phoenix Wright games, which don't really have a New Game Plus feature, and Doki Doki, which does basically revolve around the game modifying itself. So maybe that's an outlier. Okay, I think I need to start on a clean game to not mess up anything. All right, this is gonna be a little bit complicated. I need to have the guide on hand. Chrono Trigger, I think, was the first game to have a new game plus. Wait, really? I didn't think that they would be the pioneers of it. I thought it was already an established thing. Huh. Chrono Trigger inventing New Game Plus. It does make sense. I just didn't think of it. I thought it was already a thing. Okay, give me a moment. You know what? I'm gonna have I'm gonna need the guide pulled up on my phone because I'm using the second monitor to watch the chat, and switching in between is kind of annoying because when I click out the music and the game goes out of focus. Okay, just give me a moment. I'm connecting my phone because it's kind of low on battery, so I can't have it die midstream. Okay, I got the guide ready, so let's go. Zelda 2 actually was the first game with a new game plus. But that's a very good point. The thing is, how many people remember Zelda 2? Because I mean, I guess it's two Asian demographics who played Zelda 2 and who played Chrono Trigger. And I guess most gamers now have played neither. It's kind of sad. The passage of time is truly merciless. But still, you know what? It's a neat feature, so I'm glad it was implemented. Especially, with games that have multiple endings or things to explore that you may not have seen on the first playthrough, or new bosses that are stronger than the final boss. Zelda 2 is one of the most popular games of the late 80s. Yeah, I would say the key part is the late 80s. Well, that's good. I mean, great games shouldn't be forgotten, so that's good. Angry Video Game Nerd and Project did videos about them. The younger people may have wanted to play this game after seeing the reviews as well. Okay, that's a very good point. Bot message of the night number 1. There's also the whole meme where Link goes into a woman's house and closes the door to heal his HP. Wait, what? That sounds more like something from God of War than The Legend of Zelda. What the hell? Here's gotta make the sentence after all. I mean, isn't Zelda supposed to be the canonical ship? Zelda 2 is still the last game chronologically. Yeah, I vaguely remember that the Zelda chronology is all messed up, you know? I kind of don't like that, you know? Like, we have, like, imagining with Mega Man X, Mega Man X1, the first game, Mega Man X2, actually the last game of the series, Mega Man X3, the next game. Mega Man X4 actually goes before X3, but before X2, and so on. I hate that messed up chronology. I think Kingdom Hearts kind of has that syndrome. I don't know if it's like a very slight form of OCD or probably not, but yeah, I prefer. You know, if you're gonna have a chronology, do it right. If you're gonna make several games, just put them in the right order. The only exception, I give a pass is a prequel. You already have an established franchise and good characters, a good story, but you want to show this the prequel, how they got there. Okay, you can do like, like Street Fighter Alpha, but also Street Fighter actually has that. I think Street Fighter 3 is after 4, but before 5 or some stupid nonsense. You mean how Devil May Cry does it? 3, 1, 4 to 5. Yes, exactly. I hate that they do that. Like when the first game in the series is not the first game in the series, what the hell? Why would you tell a story backwards? And I mean, maybe this is part of my education clashing because my mom has been a writer and I have done some writing myself, amateur, but still. So I know the concept of telling a story, maintaining a structure, doing your lore. So going back and forth like that, it just messes me up. Again, I give a pass for prequels, to show you something interesting, like before the original plot happened and other characters, usually like the protagonist's parents or something or ancestors. But going back and forth like that with nonsense, yeah, I don't like that. The Street Fighter timeline is Alpha, Alpha 2, Alpha 3, 3, 2. Wait, what do you mean 3 is before 2? Oh, wait, never mind. Street Fighter Alpha 3 is before Street Fighter 2. Okay, we're on the same page. The Street Fighter 4, 5, and then 3, and then Giant Attack, Third Strike, and 6. The fact that Third Strike is apart from Street Fighter 3 already bothers me. But yeah, what the hell? 2, 4, 5, 3. Did these people go to kindergarten? I swear they skipped kindergarten. Street Fighter 3 Giant Attack is the tournament. Third Strike is just people around fighting like in alpha games. Okay. Capcom is scared of Street Fighter 3 because of how badly it flopped, which is why 4 is more of a true sequel to Street Fighter 2. I mean, yes, they done messed up with Street Fighter 3. I think they didn't even have Ryu, like a Street Fighter without Ryu, just to rub salt in the wound. So, I mean, yes, they messed up, but they should own to it. Or, you know what? Remake it and make it right. That's what they should do, no, not just this coward nonsense. You know, they could have canonized the old Street Fighter 3 and make a new Street Fighter 3. I mean, Street Fighter 4 should have been the new Street Fighter 3. And then Street Fighter 5 would have been Street Fighter 4. And Street Fighter 6 would have been Street Fighter 5, presumably. I mean, who in their right mind conceives a Street Fighter game? Or, you know what? Scratch that. Who in their right mind conceives an iconic game without its protagonist, without any proper actual justification? I mean, I always tell this example to my friends, like, if you suddenly threw out a Mortal Kombat without Sub-Zero or without Scorpion, what the hell? That thing is anything but a Mortal Kombat. Unless you actually in the story bother to justify why he's not there, or if it's a prequel and you have characters from before their time frame, okay. But if you just make a sequel of the game and you say, nah, we're not having the protagonist this time, yeah, people are gonna get mad. You can't drop the protagonist of a story or a game without justification and expect people to take it. I mean, this kind of happened to Toriyama. You know, he wanted to drop Goku as the protagonist to pass the baton to Gohan, but it failed because people still wanted Goku. And I mean, at least he was trying to write the process. You know, that he did more than Capcom, but it wasn't enough. And he was trying. So compare that to Capcom, who didn't even bother to try, and you can see why. Yeah. Mega Man X7, yes, exactly. Mega Man X7 is another glaring example of why that doesn't work. It's just a horrible idea. Whoever suggested it had to be fired. Because it's just stupid. I swear these people never picked up a book and read, because they would realize, what the hell am I doing? Am I removing the protagonist for no reason? Vanilla Mortal Kombat didn't have Scorpion. Vanilla Mortal Kombat 3. Huh. I haven't really followed up on Mortal Kombat 3 drama, so I'm not sure. I assume people probably dislike the game for not having Scorpion. But imagine a Mortal Kombat without Sub-Zero, without Liu Kang, and that's borderline inconceivable. I mean, I'm not putting companies above pulling that, but people are not gonna forgive. You couldn't fire Inafune when X7 was being made. I mean, that's even worse. The creator of the story butchers it. You know, this is the moment where, you know, Inafune proposing X7 to be a game without Mega Man X himself. The Capcom people should have been like, that sounds like Maverick talk to me. Yeah, that was just dumb. I think they actually killed Liu Kang off for a while. I mean, okay, that goes back to my counterpoint. You can remove a protagonist if you justify it. I mean, Zero was not the protagonist of Mega Man X, but we knew he was out of commission for most of X2. So at least if you're gonna do that to a major character, have it work within the story. You know, make it justifiable, or even better, make it a plot point. But just ditching the character for whatever stupid reason without bothering to, you know, show your work, in a manner of speaking, yeah, that's just bad. That's, you know, that sounds even worse. That sounds like a childish tantrum. That actually sounds even worse. That speaks of a lack of maturity. If you're gonna get spiteful against your own creation just because, I mean, the company probably stabbed him in the back, but, you know, get pissed at the company, not with the fans. The product is for the fans. You shouldn't take it out on the fans. You take it out on the company. Buenas, X-Volt. I mean, I know he didn't create the character proper. I'm aware of that little piece of lore. But let's be real. After creating Mega Man X himself, the original creator didn't seem to do much, or he wasn't given the chance to do much. And Inafune took him and ran with him, and he was the one who made Mega Man X iconic. I know he was salty because they didn't pick his boy Zero, and, you know, maybe that was a red flag from the beginning. X-Volt, esto vino, la conversación vino a juego porque estábamos hablando de cómo hay juegos que tienen una cronología horrible como Street Fighter o Devil May Cry. Y también yo estaba mencionando que esa es una de las grandes estupideces que pueden hacer las compañías. La otra es quitar al protagonista sin motivo, como Street Fighter 3 que quitaron a Ryu. Sí, a eso viene. Es el contexto. No, en el juego estamos bien. Estoy siguiendo una guía para sacar el final bueno. Hayato Kaiji worked on almost every non-integrated Mega Man game. Wait, really? Why did Irafuna take the lead then? Hayato Kaiji is a character designer, not a producer. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what the hell a producer does, because what little I have read is that a producer is like the manager of the project, or sometimes they are the person sponsoring, paying for the thing. But I mean, me as a normal person who is not a corporate suit, my normal common sense would tell me, let the guy who created the character actually handle the character. Search Biden. God damn it. By the way, Roncat, at least in Serge's defense, she is his sage. So at the very least, it's not an old man creeping on a girl. Kid must be mad if Sir says that out loud in a manner with gold. Ok, puede ir un poco más lento, X-Bolt, pero sí. La verdad es que leo bastante rápido. No me estoy saltando. Esa es mi velocidad de lectura normal. De hecho, me acuerdo que en una clase de inglés que ya era de nivel avanzado, había un ejercicio donde medías tu velocidad de lectura. Y obviamente siendo yo el maestro, leyendo eso, creo que lo hice como en un tercio del tiempo. O sea, el libro esperaba que te tardaras, creo que 3 minutos en terminar de leer todo. Algo así de no sé cuántas palabras por minuto. Y yo lo leí como en un minuto sin exagerar. Y lo cronometré. Así que, pues, es lo que pasa cuando llevas tantos años practicando. Pero sé, no todos estamos en ese nivel. Y obviamente un hablante nativo va a ser más rápido incluso que yo, así que tampoco es para tanto. Por mucho que lo intente, es solamente segundo idioma. No puedo llegar al nivel experto que es hablante nativo. O sea, el punto de lo que lo que quería decir Xbolt es que mi velocidad de lectura ni siquiera estaba contemplada. O sea, incluso la velocidad más rápida que tenía contemplada el ejercicio del libro era como el doble o el triple de lo que yo dice. Y no me lo esperaba, ¿eh? Sinceramente no fue, de hecho ni siquiera se lo dije a mis alumnos, o sea, fue en silencio, todos leyeron, cronometraron sus tiempos y todo. Yo lo hice meramente por diversión. Aunque sí pasó que mis alumnos me preguntaron cuánto tiempo me tardé y pues sí les dije la verdad. Pero de todas maneras se los planteé de una forma positiva porque les dije, esto es ya con años de práctica, ustedes van a llegar ahí si lo siguen haciendo, esto no es cosa de un ratito, o sea, estamos hablando de que ya tenía yo 20, a ver, ya tenía como 28, 29 años, y les digo, me enseñaron kinder e inglés a los 5, ya tengo más de 20 años practicando esto, o sea, varios de ustedes ni tienen 20 años. Con los años se llega a esto. Pero de hecho, pues sí, Parece que se lo tomaron bien. Bueno, quiero pensar que se lo tomaron a bien porque parecía que los motivó. Okay, I need to reload because I got injured, and I think I need to try to get without I mean, with as little damage as possible to get a good ending. El Super Saiyan legendario de la lectura. I mean, I saved right before, so yeah. Okay, let me see the Mega Man X comic. What do you think of the Udon Mega Man X comic being announced? I haven't really seen the announcement. I'm not sure if it's what you mentioned on the Discord a few days ago. I'm not sure if it's that one. I wanted to check the details so I can tell you. I haven't really kept up with many news in general. I mean, gaming news, general news. Qué chafa que no llega a México nada. Bueno, eso ya creo que está por default. Casi nada de Capcom llega a México bien. O sea, nunca hubo un intento ni de traducir los juegos al español. Lo único que me hicieron nada más es el Legacy Collection, que tradujeron los menús al español y ya, pero ¿y los juegos? Bien, gracias. Aunque bueno, esa es la razón por la que yo aprendí inglés, así que no sé, a lo mejor es hipócrita que yo me queje. Si lo hubieran traducido no habría aprendido inglés. Aunque por otro lado, un X4 doblado en México en los 90s habría sido una maldita joya. It's going to be the first Western comic where X has a spotlight and isn't a guest in Classics comic. You know what? That's actually very good. I look forward to it. You know, it's a shame I can't buy it because they're not gonna sell it in Mexico, like X Gold was saying. I would actually buy it. if I could, but yeah, especially with the political stuff going on and the crazy tariffs and whatnot. Yeah, probably Mexico's not gonna get it. El Rockmanation. Bueno, el Rockmanation hace un buen trabajo, ¿eh? Pero digo, o sea, estamos hablando de México en los noventas. Era el dios del doblaje latino. O sea, de hecho hasta de los ochentas, ya ves. Sailor Moon, Ranma, Los Caballeros del Zodiaco, Dragon Ball. Si en esa época hubieran doblado Mega Man X4, ni siquiera me puedo imaginar, pero iba a ser genial. There's almost no comic book stores anymore here in America either. I'm surprised the one in Suizun was still open when where I got the first Mega Man Udon comic. Well, surprisingly, I still can find comic stores here. I mean, there is this thing that, I mean, it's a market, not a supermarket, but a more traditional market that in the center of Mexico they call tianguis. But, well, there's a comic book store in there that has, I mean, I think that they have almost everything. I mean, they have a selection of US comics, they have Mexican, Latin American comics, they have manga, and that store, legit, I have seen it since I was like 5 years old, and it still exists today. So there is one. Also, in some supermarkets, you can find some comics. I know for a fact that in Chedraui, they sell like Spider-Man, X-Men, Superman, Green Lantern, some, Marvel, DC comics. You can still find them. Which is ironic is there is no dedicated comic store. It's only in supermarkets or the one in the market. But there is nothing like the stores, like the comic store in The Simpsons. There is nothing like that where I live. In Mérida, Yucatan, yes, there is. That's a big city. It has things. Sadly, I live in a backwards jungle town, so I don't get to have nice things. Sanborns. Creo que ni hay Sanborns en mi rancho. Xvolt, hay una tienda de cómics en el mercado, lo que muchos llaman tianguis, y en Chedraui he visto cómics a la venta. No me he fijado en las demás, no sé si en Walmart o en Aurrera tengan, me parece que a lo mejor en ocasiones. Pero digo, no hay una tienda de cómics así como las gringas, así como la de los Simpsons. En Mérida sé que sí hay tiendas dedicadas de puro anime, o sea, de puro manga, puros cómics occidentales. Pero pues es que esa ciudad y lo mío es pueblo. I only see Archie comics in supermarkets here. Well, used to. I'm surprised you have X-Men there, since a lot of the comics will have woke stuff. I would say Round Cat X-Men probably doesn't have the same cultural perception in Mexico than it does in the US. And I'm gonna tell you two reasons why. First, the 90s cartoon was way too iconic, and it's almost impossible to tarnish the reputation. And secondly, because the way Mexican history works, it's different from the US. I mean, I'm not throwing shade or anything, but basically, the US was a nation of colonizers that settled, and developed and then rebelled. Meanwhile, Mexico was the native population was defeated, enslaved, and then we rebelled. So I think that the average Mexican actually relates more to the X-Men because we identify with being the underdog, because we have been historically the underdog every damn time. We were the underdog against Spain. We were the underdog against the US when they invaded. We were the underdog against France and still kicked the rest on the 5th of May. So, yeah, it's probably a mix of those two reasons. Our history resonates in a different way to the US, and the cartoon did it massive favors. Mi padre colecciona cómics desde los 80s. Esa información vale millones. Lo que se siente es que ya no lo publican semanal, lo juntan en un librito. Ah, sí. Pues allá en la tiendita es el mercado. Yo veo los cómics tradicionales. No son compilaciones. Son cómics así como de 20 páginas. O sea, los cómics de siempre, pues. Es más, hace unos años, cuando mi mamá trabajaba, como ella pasaba por ahí, me compraba cómics. Generalmente de Superman, de Spider-Man. Sí. Y también hay cómics, también había, por ejemplo, creo que hay cosas así como lo de Condorito, Mafalda. A mi mamá que le encanta, Boogie el Aceitoso. ¿Cuál otro? Ah, ya también habían, hay cómics mexicanos que también están muy buenos. Me acuerdo que había uno que te contaba la historia de Nezahualcóyotl. Creo que ese se perdió en un huracán. Me encantaba. Ese sí era como un libro, como un mini libro, pero era cómic, estaba a color y te contaba toda la historia de Nezahualcóyotl. Estaba buenísimo. Maldita sea, no me acuerdo ni quién es el autor, no lo puedo buscar en internet. Calimán, pues, Calimán es otro de los grandes, sí. Which is why the X-Men. Oh, wait, let me see the rest of the comments. That's why activists became X-Men writers, but they saw a lot of the similarities with racists and homophobics, which is why the X comics are so unappealing now. Sí, la verdad, ay, sí, mi mamá se la rifó porque realmente siempre me conseguía cosas buenas para leer. O sea, hay un balance, porque me podía conseguir cómics de Superman, de Flash, de Spider-Man, etcétera. Pero también me encontraba cosas, como te digo, la historia de Nezahualcóyotl. Había uno de Alejandro Magno, que igual estaba buenísimo. O sea, y son dibujos mexicanos, pero te contaban toda la historia y con lujo de detalle. La verdad, buenísimo. No sé si era una serie de así de cosas históricas, pero te contaban la historia muy bien, ¿eh? Y todo te digo dibujado a color, buena calidad. All right, let me check the guide to see where I need to continue. Sí, eso sí es literatura. No, si te digo, mi mamá es grandísima fan de Alejandro Magno. Así que desde chiquito yo he leído un montón de libros y visto muchas cosas. De hecho, a mí personalmente me gustan más los griegos que los romanos en ese aspecto. Ya ves que mucha gente le hace el mame del Imperio Romano, pero digo, pinches romanos, se robaron la cultura griega. Don't forget that Fully Charged had its own comic before Mega Man X did in America. And now that's just, being hurtful. Damn Capcom. He escuchado que los mangas de Mega Man X sí son brutales. Mucho más que cualquiera de los juegos. So no one surprised the Fully Charged comic was short-lived due to low sales. I mean, at that point, only masochists would get that comic. Se supone que ahorita hay una colaboración con un juego chino. No estaba yo al tanto de qué otra colaboración había. Also, that's crazy that Fully Charged is almost a decade old. Oof. Right in the sense of time. Fully Charged was the dark before Mega Man 11, and that's almost 7 years old. We really need more Mega Man stuff, and Capcom is not gonna give it to us. These are dark times for the Mega Man fandom. No me fijé demasiado en las calacas X-Volt. Tengo mis reservas con Mega Man 11. Aunque te diré que entre Mega Man 9, 10 y 11, elijo el 11. Ahí te la dejo. The way you beat that skeleton god. What? Eight years between Mega Man 10 and 11, and now 7 years later with no console Mega Man game in the foreseeable future. I mean, the console future itself is already kind of in a questionable place. Sony did absolutely nothing with the PS5, and they think that somehow the PS6 is gonna fix the problems, but they're just gonna keep releasing remasters of the remasters of the remasters. Xbox just stop caring about consoles. They're trying to be the Netflix of games. Steam does nothing and keeps winning. Epic Games does everything and keeps losing. But yeah, the situation with console is probably not good. Nintendo got power drunk, and now they're doing outrageous things and charging insane prices. Los tres pésimos. Yo quería esencia. Que siguiera la historia de Mega Man y Base. En eso sí tienes toda la razón. O sea, por eso yo decía, antes de toda esta babosada, después de Mega Man 7 y 8, para mí el que seguía era Mega Man y Base. Ese era el Mega Man 9 legítimo. Porque Mega Man 9, reverenda basura. Mega Man 10, o sea, Mega Man 9, 10 y 11 podrías decir que es el meme de basura, basura, mega basura. Parker, no te pago para que me traigas basura. Donkey Kong Bonanza is great though. Well, I mean, at least Nintendo still knows how to make games. Now if only they stop being draconian with the prices. And also with the practices with the console, because they break your console remotely for anything. So basically, you don't own the physical thing you buy anymore. That's just ridiculous. If I buy something, I legally own it, and I should be able to do whatever the hell I want. This is, you know, the same nonsense as Ferrari with the cars, because you can paint the car or do some things because apparently the owner gets mad. It's nonsense. You pay for it, it's yours. If you're renting it, okay, it's not yours fully. You get to use it, but you're renting. But if you buy it, it's yours, goddammit. How hard is it to understand? Pokemon ZA looks fun. Yeah, hopefully. Games are getting more expensive in general. Yes, that sucks. You know, there is the meme like in this economy, but in reality, yes, in this economy. X-Volt, o sea, Nintendo tiene la habilidad de hacerte brick, o sea, volver a tu consola un pisapapeles de manera remota por cualquier motivo que se le pegue la reverenda gana. O sea, un aparato que tú compras y ellos te lo pueden deshabilitar en cualquier momento. Imagínate, compras un coche y no sé, porque le cambiaste los rines, a la compañía no le gustó, ya no arranca. Y nunca va a volver a arrancar. Así es el calibre de lo de Nintendo. Lo de los juegos también es otra tontera porque de nada sirve comprarlos en físico, porque nada más es una pinche llavecita y tienes que bajar el juego. Entonces, ya no tienes la opción. El que lo quiere comprar digital está muy bien. Yo compro digital, pero que te quiten la opción de tenerlo en físico, sí es una reverenda tontería. La gente debe tener opciones. Sí, creo que no puedes prestar los juegos, porque ahora se vinculan a tu cuenta. También esa es otra jalada. Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World are still full on card. And that it creates game will be on card. Okay, that's good. It's good to see that not all are falling for the nonsense. Sí, entre eso y las subidas de precio, Xbox, la verdad es que sí, el Switch 2 tenía todo para brillar y a Nintendo le ganó la codicia, la maldita ambición. Un Odin 2 o un Steam Deck o literalmente cualquier otra consola. De hecho, las consolas estas te pueden hasta emular el Switch. No le tienen que envidiar mucho. Pokemon ZA for Switch 2 will also be on card. Well, that's good. Okay, this already messed up. La calaca chida. Sí, exactamente, tiene varios finales. Ahorita estoy tratando de sacar el final bueno, que es el que me va a abrir la puerta a todos los otros finales. Sí, tienes que hacerlo básicamente perfecto. After Radical Dreamers, are you gonna play? Are you gonna play Secret of Evermore? I guess. Gracias, Exvolt. Lo bueno es que con los guardados frecuentes no es tan malo. Pero aparte, esa pelea con el esqueleto fue diferente a la otra. La otra la hice perfect y no hubo ningún problema, pero me cambiaron el libreto. Trials of Mana, since the 30th anniversary of that game was in April. What platform is that game? Because it sounds like it's on the Switch. SNES. Okay, so yeah, net play with RetroArch. Sure. It was the Japan only sequel to Secret of Mana, but it got an official translation and a 3D remake like 5 years ago. I mean, I suppose there has to be a translated Super Nintendo ROM, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Wait, so Secret of Mana didn't get any other sequels? By the time you get Magus in Chrono Trigger, money is almost useless by that point, which is why the treasure doesn't tempt him. I mean, a man with control over the elements that can fly and might be immortal. What is money to a demigod? Wait, I think I messed up. Oh, never mind. I'm fine. Most of the sequels are god awful. The Mana series got like 4 or 5 sequels, depending if you count Sword of Mana as a sequel. But they're god awful. God damn it. You know, it's kind of funny how the first game sets the bar so high, and then every subsequent game just fails, falls flat on its face trying to reach it. And then at some point they give up. I mean, it happened with Chrono Trigger, it happened with Mega Man X. Literally a Pokemon. Trials, Legend of Mana, and Visions of Mana are good. Sword is lower hate. Children, Dawn, and Heroes are awful. Why do I feel like Sword is the Chrono Cross of Mana? Secret of Mana isn't the first game. It's actually the second game. The first game was on Game Boy as Final Fantasy. Wait. Secret of Mana is a Final Fantasy? No, seriously? It's a Final Fantasy. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Secret of Mana was also built off a rejected prototype of Final Fantasy IV because it had an an action-based battle system. Yeah, and somehow Chrono Trigger was also born from this split. It's kind of funny. So they were literally the offspring of Final Fantasy in a way. Radical Dreamer also looks surprisingly Western for a Japan only game, too. The only anime like thing in this game is Riddle's sprite. Yeah, I feel like this probably is inspired, at least in some way, by stuff like Dungeons and Dragons. But I don't know if that is a stretch. Almost every RPG is inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. Radical Dreamers is reminding me of a point and click game my dad used to play on PC in the 90s. I have to say, I never had any exposure to those sorts of games, and in part because my father is actually computer illiterate. But you know what? By choice. Because, I mean, when I was in kindergarten, my mom put me in a computing school. I think I already told the story that I was taught how to use MS2, Windows 95. And my mom also learned how to use computers herself. So my father chose not to. And when he wanted to learn, we told him that legit, the first thing he needed to get used to a computer was to practice on a typewriter. And we had a typewriter. He refused. So he refused to take the first step and he never learned how to use a computer. Wait, there was a free heal here. I wasn't sure if I'd get it with the hand plate. Okay, there is a free heal with Beardy, so I'm gonna try to get it. I need healing. I wasn't talking about that, Roundhead. My secret photograph of kid. What? Search pulled a Navi key. Do you think the mouse mistaking kid for a boy is a reference to Flea? To be honest, I hadn't thought of it that way until you mentioned it right now. Oh boy, right when I was fully healed, god freaking damn it. Okay, I think I'm okay. I'm not entirely sure. Just in case, I'm gonna use the third slot. I don't know if that messed up, but at least I can backtrack. Flea also has his hair braided. Okay, that's also a good point. Do you think Flea has descendants that are around in 1020? Ozzy has one in 1000 AD. I mean, Flea is a guy, so he can't have kids in that way. And I don't think he's into girls. It would be weird, so I would think he probably doesn't have a descendant just because he didn't care to continue the bloodline. I honestly have no idea around cat, and I mean nothing in the game really suggests any. I mean, yeah, the game doesn't really suggest anything regarding that, so there's nothing to go off canonically. Or he could have been what? Okay, that is yeah. I'm just gonna say I agree with X. That that's probably pushing it way too much. Yeah, I remember. Wait, I think I messed up there. Eh, mm. I'm following the guide as closely as I can, and so far it has only been like minor divergences, like with the fights, with the random fights. I think I messed up in the choices there. How would you feel if Miguel and Lena were Flea's descendant? They do look like they could be related. That would be very weird. But I don't know, this feels like a way to disqualify Lena just to accept the forced kidship. All three of them specialize in powerful magic attacks. I'm not sure if that is enough to establish a genetic link to Flea. Also, wouldn't that mean that Lena is not fully human, that she is part monster? Because damn. Flea looks close enough to human that no one would notice, especially if they're 400 years apart. Well, Maron was 1,000 years apart, and Frog's ancestry still made her a frog. That was only 4,000 years? Sorry, 400 years? Okay, good point. Huh. Okay, that sounds like a semi plausible theory, but it would be weird. Sí lo vi. Las tazas feas. Not yet, not yet. I mean, Slash is not even a playable character. Yeah, I know. I mean, Slash is not playable in his own right, only as a transformation. If they kept the whole guileless Magus thing, that probably would have led to Ozzy, Slash, and Flea joining the party somehow. You know, there is potential for that, and it could be funny. Flash didn't really seem like he was inherently evil and was more of an honorable fighter. So he seemed like the one who would most likely join. Yeah, but it would be harder to justify Flea or Ozzy. But that's where the writing comes in. They could write a story that makes it convincing, that they give a reason for them to join. I could see Flea joining for comedic reasons. Oz is the one I have the hardest time seeing join since he did hate humanity with a passion, which is probably why he looked unfinished in Chrono Cross. Yeah. Though I can see Slash and Flea peer pressuring Ozzy to join, or the fact that Ozzy hates being by himself. Or, if they establish that Lynx is a bigger enemy, they can use the good old former enemy joins forces with the hero to fight the worst villain. Well, that is where again the working of this, writing the story has to come in. Establish that Lynx is actually a greater evil. Like he might also destroy monsters, not just humans. And so Ozzy has to join forces with the main gang. Unless Ozzy was mad that he wanted to kill Luke himself and Lix robbed the head of him. I mean, I guess he could potentially pull a Vegeta, but then again, Magus is already the Vegeta of the party. Final boss music moment. Pues mi idea fue ayudarla desafiando a Lynx para que, pues, para que la deje, pues. for Lavos if they saw that Lavos destroys Medina in 1999, wrecking their belief that Finns would be spared from the apocalypse. They could change their ways to stop Lavos. Okay, that is also a compelling point, and it would make Lavos more relevant in Chrono Cross than it was. Do you think Flea would be hated by the people in Marble if he was in Link's party at the time? I guess that depends. If they see the ears, they would realize he's a demi-human. If they don't, yeah, they would think he's a human. Harley seen as demi-human even though she looks like a normal human in a costume and makeup. Maybe they think clowns are not human. Like in that Haunting Hour episode. Hola, Vivus. Esto es una secuela de Chrono Trigger que no es Chrono Cross. Que de cierto modo es más fiel a Trigger. Pero es una visual novel. I did everything right? What the hell? I was expecting a change? Where the hell did I mess up? God damn it. I'm pretty sure I did everything right. Según esto de Radical Dreamers, es una secuela alternativa. Chrono Cross lo hicieron como Radical Dreamers, pero ahora sí es un juego. Pero pues ya ves que cambiaron más cosas y perdió esencia. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and go for the other endings, which means I'm gonna try the new game plus in here. I'm gonna save after the credits and screw it because the good ending, I don't know what's failing. You know, I might try it on my own time and see if I can get the good ending. Yeah, because I'm sure this was almost perfect. There were moments where I took damage, but I healed. I was at full health all the way until the Lynx fight. And according to the guide, the choices don't matter much at that part of the game. So I don't know what the hell happened. But you know what? At least now I have a more solid grasp. It's just... Well, I had the guide. The first blind experience was necessary. I had fun pissing it off. Well, my first guess is just a picture of her sleeping, you know, going with the anime trope. Wait. Where is my option to continue? Oh, wait, never mind. Okay, I'm just gonna save. Okay, there's only 30 slots, so might as well. Okay, new game plus. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it here because I don't really have any more energy right now, and I mean it's damn late. There is that too. So yeah, my first guess is a sleeping pig. My second guess is probably some stupid, silly pig. I don't know, like let's see. I mean, I don't know, like kid in a silly costume, like a penguin suit or something. A mimir. See. Yeah, the best thing right now is just to go to sleep. Rudolph as your name, as your new Game Plus icon. Yeah, that's kind of funny. All right, I guess we're gonna try to look into the other endings until I can find a verifiable way to get the good ending. All right, guys. So thank you so much for sticking around for this late night stream. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to stream tomorrow. If I can't for whatever reason, at the very least I will do it on Friday, so there is that. It's not guaranteed because again I have things to do. But I'll let you know. Alright guys. So this is it for tonight. And well, Well, for me it's night, but other people might be in different time zones. So whatever is in there, have a good one, and hopefully see you next time. And yes, round cat, I will be. All right, guys. Now for real. Until the next time.